scores as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Puck It with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Puck It with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X. We've got a loaded slate today, so grab your coffees and let's dive into all of these games. Now, like always, I will do the recap at the end of the show. We'll do that round robin as well. So if you don't have time to hang out for the full show, make sure you do come back and check those out. We're going to jump straight into it, though, you guys. We're looking at the Colorado Avalanche versus the Washington Capitals. This game will be kicking off at 7 o'clock Eastern. Now, we're seeing all odds on FanDuel. FanDuel has the Colorado Avalanche at minus 152 on the money line, plus 126 here for the Washington Capitals, a team that's been phenomenally strong at home, but will be without Ovechkin in their lineup today. Ovechkin coming in week to week after getting 2 goals in his last game out, but then taking a lower leg injury. So we will see what this team is made of without Ovechkin on the ice. We know he's been so dominant to start the season, chasing Wayne Gretzky's records. We've got a total of 6.5 in this one, minus 110 to the under. When we look here at Logan Thompson getting the start here for the Washington Capitals, he has been strong on the season. He is 8-0-1 on the season with a 2.63 goals against average and a save percentage of 913. So when we look here at the Colorado Avalanche, this team has an elite power play out there on the ice. They're going to come against a hot goaltender. They will need to convert on the power play, in my opinion. But the kill here is strong for the Washington Capitals. I look at this game as one that Colorado could have the chance of winning if they can score in the power play. So I'm going to look at power play props here for Colorado. I don't love the money line here for the Colorado Avalanche. It's way too juicy at minus 152, and the juice keeps ticking up as the day goes on. So we're going to stay off the money line, but I do think Colorado sneaks out a win here. The power play point for Cale Makar is where I'm going to look for the Colorado Avalanche. His power play point coming in at plus 145. Now, you could look at him for 2+ points, but I do think with how we have seen Logan Thompson playing, I can't take the 2+ points for Cale Makar. If you're brave enough, that's coming in at plus 240. He has 27 points on the season. We know Nathan McKinnon has been leading this team, 34 points for him. Mikko Rantanen at 27 and Casey Middlestat coming in at 18 points. Cale Makar will be my go-to here. If you want to parlay Cale Makar for a point tonight and Colorado for the win, I think it's a strong way to go. Now, when we look here at the Washington Capitals, could they come out strong in the first period? Yes, they could, because Ananen coming out here for the Colorado Avalanche, he was lit up in his one game versus Washington. Washington won that game back on November 15th. It was a 5-2 win in Colorado. So we have seen Washington be able to score on Ananen here, and I think they can come out strong in the first period. We look at the Washington Capitals. They've won the last 5 first periods as an underdog, and I think this is a prime opportunity to take them with some plus money in that first period here for them. That first period money line for them is coming in. Let me just grab that number for you because I'm sure this has moved as of late. So the money line coming in for the Washington Capitals at plus 106. The nice thing about taking the money line, we're getting plus money. So if this finishes 0-0 or 1-1 in that first period, you will get the push. If you want to look at the puck line, which I'm always more inclined to do, you've got to look at a reverse puck line because right now the Washington Capitals are the dogs. So they want you to grab plus a half a goal. So that's coming in at minus 210. Now, the problem here is I don't see on FanDuel a reverse puck line. If you can take the reverse puck line on your book, laying the half a goal, I would look for the Washington Capitals to be able to get up 1-0 in that first period, hitting Ananen fast and Alex Leon standing on his head. Now, the Washington Capitals, if you just want to look for them to get a goal in that first period, over half a goal, again, the juice is so high at minus 158. And the Colorado Avalanche, over half a goal, is coming in at minus 192. So the books think these teams will score in that first period. If you want to look at the first period over 1.5, I could see this starting off a higher scoring game and then shutting down. So the first period over 1.5 is -138. Both teams to score, I'm a little leery of. I think Colorado could struggle to score in that first period. That's coming in at +154. I'd lean to the over 1.5 instead of doing that, you guys. So good morning, Kev. Happy Tuesday. Let's get going. Thomas, it's good to see you here. It has been a hot minute, so I'm glad you are back. Jace, welcome. Happy Thursday. I can't believe it's already November 21st. Let's get that plus money tonight, you guys. Yeah, and if you could like, share, and retweet, subscribe, I would appreciate it greatly, you guys. So I'm going to look at Cale Makar, and then with Ovi out of this lineup, you've got to look at how these lines have moved for the Washington Capitals. Now, Jacob Chychrun has moved up to the top power play. His power play point tonight for the Washington Capitals coming in at +500. Yes, the Caps don't have an elite power play, but the kill isn't strong here for the Colorado Avalanche. Their kill's only 73.5. So special teams is killing them on that PK. I really do think the Washington Capitals, Jacob Chychrun here coming on for the power play point is worth a look. Now, you also look at that second line. It's Dylan Strome, Andrew Mangiapane, and Portis on that second line now that Ovechkin's out. Dylan Strome was getting all of those assists off of Ovi's goals. I would look at Andrew Mangiapane here for the goal for the Washington Capitals. His anytime goal coming in at +330 with him now on that line with Strome. I do think he will be the goal scorer over Portis. So that's where I'm going. It's a lot of player props in this one. Let's make some freaking money, you guys, tonight. Happy Thursday. Yeah, let's go. The Sabres, you know what? I cannot believe the Sabres won that 1-0, not able to get that second goal. I really thought they were going to be able to pull that off and get us all that plus money. Yeah, Stamkos hit the post. I know. It was just one of those games. Tavares not able to get it done either. Let's get back on track, though, today. The Utah Hockey Club facing the Boston Bruins is the next game. Now, we all know Jim Montgomery was fired from the Boston Bruins. I think a lot of it had to do with contract negotiations as well, because his contract was up for renewal, though they've been trying to get into agreement with that. But the Boston Bruins are heartbroken, really. You look at this team and listening to them talking in the media about losing their head coach, Jim Montgomery. They loved him and they played for him. Now, is the coach's fired system in play? Are they going to step up? Or are they going to protest in this one because they did love Jim Montgomery so much out there? I think they rally together. I think this team desperately needs a strong win. The Utah Hockey Club coming in here at a +122 underdog. The Boston Bruins at -146. You guys know that's getting out of my range there. For the Boston Bruins, I hate going against above -144 in all of my bets. His total is sitting at 5.5. It's +112 to the under 5.5. I do think if Boston wins this, Boston covers the puck line. I know that's hard to think with a team that hasn't been scoring a lot of goals, but the puck line here for the Boston Bruins is where I'm going to take a shot on this team. I don't think they protest. I think they rally. So laying 1.5 goals is coming in at +176. Now, we did see these teams match up just in the middle of October. The Utah Hockey Club able to win it 2-1. But I do think here the power play has to get better. Special teams has to get better here for the Boston Bruins, and the special teams can play a stronger one here. Hit Vejmelka nice and hard. I think the Boston Bruins have every opportunity of winning and covering that puck line, you guys. Now, you could look at another thing. You could look at their team total over 3.5 goals. That's coming in at +118. Utah has given up 4 or more goals in 3 of their last 4 games. So you look at the Utah Hockey Club, their defense is struggling. They're allowing 3.44 goals per game, 29.2 shots on goal. Their kills only 75%. And Vejmelka doesn't have strong numbers. So if you think Utah still has the possibility of winning this, or Boston is going to only win it by 1 goal and you don't want to lay the puck line, then you can look at Boston's team total over 3.5 at +118 because Utah has been allowing those goals to creep in. Okay. Let's move on to the next game here. The Carolina Hurricanes taking on the New Jersey Devils. Now, Carolina on the second night of a back-to-back, and they did us dirty last night. The Flyers looked like they were going to be able to hang tight with the Carolina Hurricanes, and it just didn't happen. By the end of the night, the Canes ended up getting the win 4-1. Now that was another Metro opponent. I really did think they would be looking ahead to tonight's matchup versus the Devils, but they didn't. They handled the Flyers, and now they're looking to handle the New Jersey Devils, coming in as the underdog. So current odds on this one, you guys, the Carolina Hurricanes, it has moved in the last 15 minutes. You were getting plus money with the Carolina Hurricanes. Now it is a straight pick 'em, minus 110. Either way on FanDuel, I would jump on Carolina before they move into the favorite role at minus 120, because I do think it's coming. We look at the Carolina Hurricanes. Yes, they are on the second night of back-to-back. We saw them in this situation on November 16th and 17th. So that was just last week, you guys. It's the 21st today. Tired legs are going to start to come into play. And if they do, I think it's in the way of shots on goal here. So if you're looking at the Devils, I'm going to look at some shots on goal props. But I think Carolina has the opportunity of winning this, because on the 16th and 17th, they faced the Senators and the Blues. In those games, they won 4-0 and 4-1. This team has been so strong defensively, and I do think we are going to see Kochetkov come out nice and strong. You look at him versus the Devils in his career, you guys, a .925 save percentage, a 1.98 goals against average in 7 games, going 5-2. Kochetkov can stand on his head versus his Devils team. Now, when you look at Jacob Markstrom, top 10 goalie in the league right now, coming out for the Devils. At home, they have scored. This Devils team has scored some more goals at home, but Kochetkov has been strong. But Jacob Markstrom, 7-5-1 in 13 games with a 2.42 goals against average and a .922 save percentage. So I'm looking for this to be a lower scoring one, you guys. The last time these teams matched up, the Carolina Hurricanes did win 4-2, and it was just last week. They won 7 of their last 7 meetings versus the Devils as a favorite. So they have been strong in this role. When we look here at the Carolina Hurricanes on the money line, I think it's the right way to go, you guys. Looking at shots on goal, though, for the New Jersey Devils, I do think, like I said, second night of a back-to-back, Carolina is so strong at limiting their opponent's abilities to get those shots. They're third best in the league, only allowing 35.4 shots on goal. But tired legs, I do think we see players from the Devils step up and get their shots versus the Canes. So I'm going to look at Timo Meier here, 4+ shots on goals coming in at plus 185. Timo Meier had 6 shots on goal in his last game out. Yes, it was versus a weaker defense in the Ducks, but I do think 4 is not out of the realm of possibility for Timo Meier. If you want to look at someone else, I really do think it would be Dougie Hamilton. You can take Dougie Hamilton for 3+. Such a better number here, 3+. You got to lay some juice, so at minus 114. He had 4 shots on net versus the Anaheim Ducks. So this team versus the Ducks did get those shots. Or sorry, it was versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. I was thinking they're facing the Ducks. Versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. They got those shots on Saturday in that shutout loss. They lost 4-0, but they came against a hot goaltender. So I think they'll come against another hot goaltender. I think they will still get those shots because, this is just a team. This team averages 30.1 shots on goal per game. They're averaging 3.52 goals at home on the season. They have been mediocre, though, at home, going 4-3-2. And we have seen the Canes so strong on the road this season, 6-3. I think the Canes get the win. Give me the Canes on the money line. Give me the under 6.5. Timo Meier, 4+ shots on goal. Dougie Hamilton, 3+ shots on goal. If you're picking one, it's Dougie Hamilton for me. Okay. The Tampa Bay Lightning, talking about Tampa, take on the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. This one comes down to goaltending for me. We look here at the lines. The Columbus Blue Jackets, let me just find it here, on FanDuel, home dog, plus 146, you guys. So we got a home dog. We got the Tampa Bay Lightning rolling in here at minus 178, total of 6.5, minus 102 to the under. I'm going to take this under the 6.5. I do think Andrei Vasilevskiy versus Elvis. I think we've got a goaltending duel. Elvis is 2.21 goals against average and a .929 save percentage, going 3-1-1 versus the Tampa Bay Lightning when he's been at home. You look at Elvis's overall numbers versus Tampa Bay Lightning, it doesn't look great, you guys, but you look at his home record, 3-1-1, .929 save percentage. Andrei Vasilevskiy versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, strong, 2.20 goals against average, .928 save percentage. Vass has been great, 16-4 in 20 games versus Columbus. This is going to be a goaltending battle. The under 6.5, I think, is the strongest bet of this game. The value is on the Columbus Blue Jackets coming in at plus, what was it? It's ticking up, plus 146, plus 140. When I first looked at these lines this morning, last night it was plus 130. Okay, so when we look at the last 10 meetings, so between these two, Tampa has had really the stronger advantage. They've been averaging 4.3 goals per game and Columbus at 2.5, but that takes into the road numbers for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I really do think the Columbus Blue Jackets will be able to keep it tight. There's no value to take them here on the puck line. You're not getting any value out of that. You're laying way too much juice. We've seen the Tampa Bay Lightning be able to rack up these goals, but 3 or more in 8 of their last 10, but I just don't think they're able to get it here versus Elvis. So if you like Tampa, if you think they can score 4 goals, it would be the way to go because this team has proven that they're able to do so. But I think Elvis is going to be hot tonight. I think the under 6.5 is best bet with a sprinkle on the Columbus Blue Jackets to pull it off, you guys. You guys know I love a home dog. Sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. Okay. The New York Islanders, I know you guys are talking about the Isles in the chat here. They're rolling into Detroit to face the Red Wings. Now, the Isles are coming in at minus 140, plus 116 for the Detroit Red Wings at home. We got another home dog. You know that when the home dogs are on the slate, I'm normally liking them. Total of 5.5, minus 128 to the over. So you're getting plus money to the under. The Red Wings here, Alex Leon got his first shutout of the season on October 22nd versus the Isles. That was the 4th of his career. We did see Detroit win that 1-0. So 22nd, it was a month ago that he was able to do so. We've also seen Detroit win 3 of the last 4 meetings. We look at the Islanders here. Rolling into this game, they're off 2 losses. Tuesday, they were in a shootout loss versus my Calgary Flames. That was a 2-1 loss. They battled back, or they had to battle to stay in that game and push it to OT. They allowed Calgary to get back in that game. It was a war out there, and this is their last game of 5 on the road. I think we're really going to see the tired legs for the New York Islanders tonight. They struggled on the road last season. We know they were losing 56% of their games last season on the road, and this season hasn't started off any better, you guys. They are losing at a clip of 58.3%. So I do think you can look at Detroit. The values on the home dog in this one at plus 112, I think they can get it done. And now we have seen these teams trend to the over when they face each other. I'm not buying into that over tonight. I'm going to stay off the total. Sorokin 4-3-2 in 10 games against the Red Wings with a 252 goals against 2.52 goals against average, not a 252 goals against average. We would be putting the house on Detroit if that was the case, and a 908 save percentage. So we have seen Sorokin with solid numbers. The thing here for the Detroit Red Wings, you look at their power play, it is the 3rd best in the league, which is crazy to think. It's the Detroit Red Wings with the 3rd best power play. You would think when you think about teams, it's got to be the Caps. No, the Caps don't have a great power play, even though they're doing so strong. It's got to be, the Florida Panthers. And yeah, they have a solid one, but 3rd best in the league here with the Red Wings at 32%. And we've got a terrible kill. We do see the Isles play more disciplined hockey, but their kill is 67.5%. We have a weak kill here for the Detroit Red Wings as well, 66.7. And the power play is not great for the Isles, but, they have the best face-off in the league. They're able to win those face-offs, control that puck out there on the ice at 55.6% of the time. So the Isles have been strong in that regard, but I think special teams will dominate in this one for the Red Wings, and they can get the win. Now, they've lost their last 3. They had an overtime loss on Monday versus the San Jose Sharks, 5-4. It's okay. Let's look for the Red Wings to bounce back in this meeting here. Lean on the Red Wings on the money line, possibly over the total because of the back-to-back. Yeah, I could see this one going over that total. I would like the Red Wings team total over more so than I would like the full game to the over. But it is the Isles. It is Patrick Waugh. And we know Patrick Waugh, as a head coach, is willing to pull his goaltender at any given point. It worries you when you look at those games to go to those under. So we could see it. Need your Isles to stay healthy for playoffs until Barzal gets back and healthy. Yeah. They need to stay in contention to make the playoffs for sure. Okay, let's look at Vegas. Vegas on a back-to-back tonight. The Vegas Golden Knights, let me find the lines here on FanDuel, are plus 134 on the road. It's like the books are begging us to take Vegas. Doesn't it feel like that, you guys? Minus 162 for the Ottawa Senators. Total of 6.5 in this one. Minus 115 to the under 6.5. Now, Samsonov expected in goal for the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. He's 5-2 on the season, or 5-2 in 7 games versus the Senators in his career. So strong numbers, 900 save percentage, a 3.02 goals against average. And then Allmark on the other side. Allmark has been struggling for the Ottawa Senators this season, you guys. Allmark, what is it? He's lost 7 of his last 11 appearances getting the start here for the Ottawa Senators. It hasn't been pretty. He needs to have a bounce back. Vegas hit him so hard the last time they matched up. They played on October 25th. Vegas got a 6-4 win. Allmark absolutely struggled. He allowed 5 goals on 27 shots on net. This is not the Allmark we all know and love. The Ottawa Senators are doing a good job too at limiting their exposure of their goaltenders, holding opponents to 27 shots on goal per game. Their kill isn't great, 77.4. The power play is elite here. Second best power play in the league for the Vegas Golden Knights at 34%. Now, Mark Stone's still out of this lineup for Vegas, and second night of a back-to-back. They got shut out last night versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thank God we were on Toronto to get that win. I just don't trust Vegas on the road. 3-4-2 on the road this season. It's not a place that I want to put my money on the Vegas Golden Knights, even at plus 134 in this situation. So Vegas won on the 25th. Okay, we know that. They have actually dominated the Senators, and they won 11 of the last 13 meetings. So if you just want to roll with the plus money with Vegas, I completely understand why. But I think this Vegas team is struggling to score way too much. Yes, they're averaging 4 goals on the season, but we have seen Vegas struggle in some of these games out there on the road, and I don't trust them against Allmark, who needs to get right on track. I think Allmark gets on track tonight. I do think the Senators play an elite defensive game, not allowing themselves to get trapped into the style of a game that Vegas wants to play. If Vegas gets his way, it's going to be a 5-4 game here with the Vegas Golden Knights getting the win. But I'm expecting Vegas not to get the way in this game and for the Ottawa Senators to really come out strong. Now, could the first period terrify us? Yeah, absolutely. We could have a 2-1 first period and us sitting on the under 6.5 going, holy, you know what? We've already got 3 goals in the first period. I expect that lockdown to come some point in this game, keeping us under that total. I also think we'll see the Ottawa Senators win this 4-2. So I'm on the Sens in this one. Again, the value is not there. It's minus 162 on the Ottawa Senators. First period puck line for me for the Ottawa Senators, laying a half a goal at plus 146. Yes, the Vegas Golden Knights are going to look to get back on track right away in that first period, but I do think Ottawa will get the upper hand in the first period. I'm going to also take the Vegas Golden Knights team total. I told you I think this is a 4-2 style win here for the Senators. You got to be brave to bet the Vegas Golden Knights under 2.5. You're getting plus money though, plus 116. So Josh Norris was able to get us that goal in that last game. It came late. If you want to look at Josh Norris again, I do think he steps up in this game here. You're always getting great value on Josh Norris for the anytime point. So you just can't lay the juice on the Sens on that money line, but I think they get it done tonight. So, okay, you're all in. I like it. It's got to be the under. If the Senators win, it has to be the under. If it goes over that total, Vegas is able to get the win. Okay, let's move on to the next game here, you guys. We're already at the San Jose Sharks versus the St. Louis Blues. I just got to find odds here on FanDuel. There's so many games today, scrolling, and I scroll past them 100 times and scroll back up. Let me just have a sip of coffee. My voice is going. There's a cold going around my house, so if I sound funny, I apologize. Okay, so the Sharks are plus 188 here on the money line on the road. Are they worth a look tonight? Are the Sharks barking? Minus 230 here for the St. Louis Blues, total of 5.5. Plus 108 to the under, minus 132 to the over in this one. Now, Binghamton has great numbers versus the San Jose Sharks in his career. He's gone 7-1-1 in 11 games with a 2.52 goals against average, and a 914 save percentage. So we have seen the strength of Binghamton versus a lower grade team here in the Sharks. Vanacek coming in for the San Jose Sharks. He's had decent numbers versus the St. Louis Blues. Now, this is the second night of the back-to-back for the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks killed me again last night. I thought the Sharks could keep it tight with the Dallas Stars. They were not able to do so. The second period is where it really killed them. They kept it tight in the first period. They kept it tight in the third. They allowed 2 goals in that second period, which was just, and with no answer back, the undoing of this team in that game. So they're sitting 8th in the Pacific. They have covered the puck line in the last 4 versus the Blues. So when we look at current lines, the puck line here for the Sharks plus 1.5, the juice is taking up. It's minus 142. I would rather take the Sharks plus 1.5 at minus 142 than I would laying the 1.5 with the St. Louis Blues. In this one, you are getting plus money, but I think the Sharks can be strong here. We've seen the St. Louis Blues struggle at home. They've lost their last 4 games at home, you guys. I think this is a higher scoring game, even though we've seen Binghamton play strong versus the Sharks. The Sharks team has been clicking offensively in certain games. And yes, overall, they're only averaging 2.5 goals per game. But against the Blues, who have struggled at home, I really do think those goals are coming in. The St. Louis Blues are allowing an average of 3.45 goals per game. Again, I said they've lost their last 4 games at home. They have been playing better hockey as of late, but they still lost to the Wild on Tuesday 4-2. I did like some of the plays I saw out of them out there. Robert Thomas back in this lineup. You know we're going to look at Robert Thomas for the St. Louis Blues tonight. I want him to get a game under his belt before we start targeting him. Robert Thomas for the anytime goal coming in at plus 220. Now, these teams did match up on October 10th, 5-4 game. For the Blues, they were able to get the win. I see it going very similar ways in this one. I love the over. I think this is another 5-4 win. I'm going to take the first period, both teams to score at plus 180, and I'm also going to take the over 1.5 goals in the first period at minus 120. So half unit on both. Whenever I do the both teams to score in the over 1.5, normally if I like the over 1.5, I think it's because both teams just will score, or I see one team that's just going to completely dominate and get those 2 goals themselves, and then I stay off that both teams to score. So if I'm only ever taking the over 1.5, that is why I'm doing so. But I do think in this case, we can see the Sharks and the Blues be able to get on the scoreboard. Now, when we look at who I think will be able to get that goal for the Sharks, the best value tonight, Will Smith coming out here for goal. Plus 500 for Will Smith. And I do think for the Sharks, he has every possibility. I'm going to put, a third of a unit on each of these players here for the Sharks. 1/3 on Will Smith, 1/3 on Celebrini at plus 290, and 1/3 on Toffoli at plus 260. If you want to take them all for a point and round robin that, I don't hate it either. You're just going to have to lay the juice, but if you're parlaying them together, you're going to get better value. When we look at the St. Louis Blues, again, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. So I love looking at the player props. I love looking at the points when I think it's going to be a higher-scoring game. The power play is stronger here for the Sharks. It's 17.9%. And their kill is stronger as well at 80%. So if you're looking at power play points, I'd look at the Sharks for the power play points over the St. Louis Blues. Their power play is only clicking at 15.2, and their kill is 77.8. So I would look at the Sharks power play points before the St. Louis Blues, but we know the Blues could convert on the power play here versus the Sharks. But the players I would look at, Robert Thomas, like I told you, I'm taking him for the goal at plus 220, and I will take Will Smith at plus 500 for the Sharks. And then I'll play around with a third of a unit on the rest of those. But for the St. Louis Blues, Jordan Kyrou is coming in at plus 180 for the anytime goal, and Jake Neighbors at plus 240. So again, a third of a unit on each of those players, but my favorite being Will Smith and Robert Thomas. Okay, let's look at the Florida Panthers. Will Smith. We can play Will Smith. Plus 500 to play Will Smith tonight. How can you not, right? It should be a good, Sharks are being straight money as of late for us. Are we sprinkling on the money line in a game that can be so tight? Heck yeah, we are sprinkling on the money line. You got snow in Chicago last night. Yeah, we got so much snow here, you guys. It is not pretty. Those dog walks are very short. They need new booties this season because Their feet are freezing just getting down to the end of the block, and I'm going to go insane locked inside. So maybe walk solo for a little bit here. The Florida Panthers and the Chicago Blackhawks is kicking off at 8:30 Eastern. We're getting into the late night action, you guys. The Florida Panthers, a large favorite. Do they deserve to be a large favorite? Yeah, they do. It's a Florida Panthers. They're minus 255 on that money line. Minus 1.5 on the puck line at plus 102, but I'm not going to go there either. The Chicago Blackhawks are a plus 205 at home, and they're plus 1.5 on that puck line at minus 124. I love the puck line here. They played strong versus the Florida Panthers covering that puck line. We got a total of 5.5, minus 122 to the over. I think this one goes over. I think it's because Chicago contributes to those goals and keeps it tight. They covered the puck line in the last 4 versus the Florida Panthers. So at minus 124 plus 1.5 on Chicago, I definitely think it's worth a look. Bobrovsky is in a bit of a slump right now. We look at his last 14 starts. His save percentage is below 900 at 893. Now he is the stronger goaltender versus Peter Mrazek here, but you have to look at the Florida Panthers schedule. And we're going to go over the schedule, you guys, because it's been absolutely brutal. This team is averaging 3.58 goals. So they are coming to play. They're still allowing those goals to come in. And like I said, Bobrovsky just not 100% right now. He hasn't looked great out there. That save percentage should be a 920, not under 900. So they're off the loss to the Winnipeg Jets. That was a 6-3 loss. They're still sitting first in the Atlantic right now, but their schedule has been hard. They've been playing in hard games. When we look at Chicago, they've lost their last 3. They lost on Tuesday to the Ducks, 3-2. They lost that game in Vancouver as well, you guys. They have struggled so much in their defensive zone. It's not pretty at all. They need a big step up here. Now, we've seen some lines struggled for the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm loving their top line. Connor Bedard, Jason Dickinson. It's not Dickerson, it's Dickinson. I always want to say Dickerson. And Joey Anderson on that top line. In that last game out, even though they did record the loss, we saw Connor Bedard assist 2 goals. Both of those were to Jason Dickinson. Man, I am going to be able to say that one of these days, Dickinson out there. I just know so many Dickersons and not a lot of Dickinsons. So that is where we're going. Okay, so Jason Dickinson, if you want to look at him to get that goal again tonight, that's coming in at plus 500. He got 2 in the last game. I do think he can score in this one. If you just want to take Connor Bedard, Jason Dickinson, and Joey Anderson for a point tonight, that is your top line there. I think they have every ability of recording that point. So parlaying all 3 of them together. If you just want to take Connor Bedard and Jason Dickinson, I like their point parlayed together as well. If you want to have faith in Jason Dickinson and Connor Bedard to assist Jason Dickinson in the first period, you get Jason Dickinson for a goal in the first period. You guys, so much value. I couldn't believe it when I was looking at it, especially when he got 2 goals in the last. This connection is working between the 2 of them. If it's Connor Bedard and he gets the assist, well, I will kick myself, but not too much. It's plus 1,800. I think it is worth coffee money. Put your Starbucks money on that. I know some days Starbucks feels like a heck of a lot of money, but I do think you can put your Starbucks money on that at plus 1,800. It's a fun bet to have. I like his anytime goal better at plus 500, but at plus 1,800, you guys know I signed up as soon as I saw all of that value. So that is Jason Dickinson for an anytime goal in the first period. It doesn't have to be the first period of the game. Anytime goal in the first period. Okay, so I told you I want to look at Florida's schedule, and this is where I think Florida could be in trouble tonight because of how hard their schedule is. So they're coming into this off a loss to the Jets, but let's look at how they got here. They faced the Stars, got the win. Faced the Predators, got the win. They faced the Flyers, got a shootout win. They lost 2 times at home to the Devils. Okay, that was a home and home. They then had a home and road versus the Jets. They won at home, then they lost on the road. Now they're facing the Chicago Blackhawks. So their last couple of games, so they played 2 versus the Jets. They had a win and a loss. 2 versus the Devils, they took 2 losses. They had a shootout win versus the Flyers. They had a win versus the Predators, win versus the Stars. None of those teams are easy, you guys. Now they face an easy team in the Chicago Blackhawks where they're expected to get a big win, right? We expect them to come out here, dominate, win 4-1. I just don't think it's that easy. We look at the look-ahead schedule. This is their easiest game in forever. They have the Avs on Saturday, the Capitals on Monday, the Maple Leafs on Wednesday, and then road and home with the Carolina Hurricanes. They have a hell of a hard schedule ahead of them. This is a game we could see the upset just because they know what's ahead. They know what's behind. This is a game that is a prime letdown spot for me. Give me Chicago plus 1.5. Give me Chicago with the sprinkle on that money line. Give me Jason Dickinson for a goal in the first period at plus 1,800. Anytime goal at plus 500. Connor Bedard, Jason Dickinson, and Joey Anderson for their points tonight. Parlayed round robin, however you want to do it. So best bet of the game, though, one that I really think hits, I'm confident in it hitting. Well, I'm confident in all of these hitting. Otherwise, I'm not giving them out. The Chicago Blackhawks over 2.5 goals. You're getting plus money. If you don't want to step in front of Florida, I think at least Chicago gets 3 goals in this one. Could Florida win then 5-3? Absolutely. And then you're still getting plus 108 on Chicago to find the back of the net 3 times. Happy Thursday, Manas. Thank you for joining us here today. So that is where I'm going. Starbucks money will see me twice today. I love it. Kev, we got to throw that Starbucks money on when we are thinking these dogs can get things done. You guys were on to the 9 p.m. Eastern time slot. Again, I'm going to do the recap at the end of the show. So if you're just popping in, wondering where we're at, I will bookmark where that time is. I will post it so you guys know where to jump ahead in the video. So many of you guys are watching. If you can hit that like button, hit that retweet button, keep this show going. Live on SportsGrid TV each and every day at noon Eastern. I would so appreciate it. So 2 games left to go over. The Minnesota Wild taking on the Edmonton Oilers, and then we'll get into the New York Rangers facing off with the Calgary Flames. The Minnesota Wild are coming in as a dog on the road. Plus 128, the Edmonton Oilers at minus 154. We do have a total of 6.5. Now the juice is on the under 6.5 coming in at minus 128. Now I underestimated Edmonton in their last game. They're off that win versus the Ottawa Senators on Tuesday, 5-2. I didn't think Connor McDavid was going to be able to answer back in the fashion that he did, and he came out so strong. I expected Edmonton to struggle. They were coming off that loss versus the Montreal Canadiens. On that back-to-back, I expected them to struggle to put up those goals, and they proved me completely wrong, answering right back off of that shutout loss. Now, Edmonton returns home in this one. This is their first game home off 3 games on the road. So they went 1-2 on that road trip. They've got the Rangers on deck on Saturday. This is the first meeting of 3 between these two this season. Now, Gustafsson has been strong, and he is in net tonight for the Minnesota Wild. He has not given up more than 2 goals in any of his last 5 starts. Stopping. Are you ready for this number? 132 of 140 shots on his net in the last 5 games. We need Gustafsson to stand on his freaking head tonight versus the Edmonton Oilers. This is a team that's second best in the league at getting those shots on goal, averaging 33.1 shots on goal per game. Their power play isn't great. It's only clicking at 17.3%, and their kill is not good at all. It's under 70%, you guys, 68.6%. When we look here at the Minnesota Wild, they've got a better power play, but not an elite one. It's converting at 20% of the time. I do think this team has one of the best, if not the best, defenses in the whole NHL. They're allowing 2.33 goals per game, 28.3 shots on goal. So it's not the defense limiting their opponent's ability to get those shots. We know, like you look at the Carolina Hurricanes, they're averaging right on 25.3 shots on goal allowed. They're still giving up 28.3. This kills only at 76.2%. But with what the defense does and the goaltending, defense and goaltending are key to this team. The Minnesota Wild love to get up in games and then lock completely down in them as well. They're sitting second in the Central, 12-3-3 right now. on the season. And we do have Edmonton coming in here 4th in the Pacific. It's actually funny. Calgary is above them in the Pacific, which you guys know I love to say. So 4th in the Pacific here for the Edmonton Oilers, 10-8-2. We do see the Wild coming in off a win versus the St. Louis Blues on Tuesday. They were able to get that 4-2 win. They're at Calgary on Sunday to end this road trip. They have the Jets on deck at home on Monday, who are first in the Central. Calgary could be their letdown spot. Teams love to play on a Saturday, though, so they will be looking ahead to the first team in the Central. It might be a game where Calgary is able to keep it tighter than people expect versus the Minnesota Wild. The road team has won 6 of the last 7, and the Wild have won the first period in the last 4 games versus the Pacific. I do think the Wild can get up to start this game. If you look at the Wild on the puck line in the first period, let me just pull that up because I know this line has moved. So I do think the puck line will have moved as well. I wanted to see if we were getting value on the Wild plus the half a goal, and we're not. It's minus 200. You can look at the Wild, though, on the money line in the first period. The Wild coming in on the money line on the first period is plus 114. And I do like that. I think they're able to get up in the first period. They've dominated this matchup, winning 8 of the last 10 meetings versus the Edmonton Oilers, dating back to what? 2020. So they have played the Oilers so phenomenally strong. We've seen those stats towards the road team. Now, Leon Draisaitl has been lights out for Edmonton, and it's actually interesting to look at him. He has 14 goals. He is on pace to win the Rocket Richard Trophy this season, especially because you look here at the other candidates. We were looking at Ovechkin. We were looking at Austin Matthews. Both of those players out with injuries right now. If Leon Draisaitl can stay healthy, the Rocket Richard Trophy could be his for the taking this season. Now, you're still getting it over plus 350. So if you want to look at some of those futures for awards, that would be a market I would look at for Leon Draisaitl. He's just been so strong right now. Now, if Edmonton wins tonight, that will put them that will put them right at 500 for their home record. So we'll see Edmonton give it their all. I do think this is one, though, Kaprizov, Matt Boldy, with how the Wild have played Edmonton, that the Wild get the win. We're getting great plus money. And it's the first game home off a road trip for Edmonton. You guys know that is a place I want to fade. We still have one more road game here for the Canes, so they're not looking ahead of their trip back home. And with how this defense plays, it's got to be the Wild, the under in this game. So when I look at that total and I look at the under, could the Wild hit Skinner? That's always a question mark for me when we look at the Minnesota Wild. When they get up in games, if they're just going to lock down. But Stuart Skinner has been a weak link. We know the defense has been a weak link. We know the power play hasn't been great, and the kill has been weak here for Edmonton. So I'm looking at the Wild. I'm looking at I prefer the Oilers team total under than I do the Wild's the full game under, because we look at Edmonton, and if the Wild decide to get that empty netter, they decide to, really lay it on Stuart Skinner, we're going to see this one go over. So give me the Oilers team total. That's sitting at 3.5 at minus 136. It's more likely that the Wild get up 3-1 in this game and lock it down, because that's the Wild's gameplay, is playing that strong defense, playing that strong goaltending, and not pushing it to accumulate those goals. But you never know with Skinner in goal. So the Oilers team total under 3.5 is where I'm going to go. The Wild first period money line, whole game money line. Yeah, I like it as well. So let's go there with that. Last game, you guys, the New York Rangers taking on the Calgary Flames. Now, plus 136 for the Calgary Flames, and I can confirm 100% my mom will not be in the building because she is in Paris right now. So we cannot play. The mom is in the building, play on the Calgary Flames, which is 3-0 to start the season. We went 8-2 or 8-3 last season. I can't remember, but we're 3-0 on the season when Mama's been in the building, and she neglects to tell me sometimes if she is going to the game like the last one, but I can confirm she definitely will not be there. Calgary's coming in at plus 136. The under 6.5 in this game is juiced at minus 132. The over at plus 108. Calgary has been benefiting from elite goaltending. You look at Dustin Wolf and what he's been able to do out there on the ice for the Calgary Flames. He has been lights out. He should be in line for Rookie of the Year for his goaltending out there. He's 6-7. He's won 6 of 7, not 6 and 7, won 6 of 7 at the Dome this season. He is being playing great. The defense in front of him, the kill is weak. The defense is allowing those shots. It's going to be his hardest test here tonight versus the New York Rangers. Igor Shesterkin will be in the blue paint on the other end between the pipes. And we've got a Rangers team that is averaging 3.59 goals per game. Power play that is clicking phenomenal at 24.4%. The Calgary Flames, if they're in the box, it's going to destroy this game tonight. Calgary cannot get in the box. Their kills only 75%. The power play, the special teams converting here at 24.4% of the time for the New York Rangers. Their kill is outstanding at 88.9%. They're still allowing these shots to come in on goal. They have the Oilers on deck on Saturday. Monday, they will be home versus the St. Louis Blues. They've won their last 3. Tuesday, they beat Vancouver in a high-scoring 4-3 game. They are sitting 4th in the Metro right now, so they're 12-4-1. They are 6-2 on the puck line on the road this season, and a lot of those games have been in the favorite role as we are seeing them tonight. So current odds on this one, the New York Rangers -164, Calgary +136, the juice to the total on the under, and the puck line here for the New York Rangers -1.5 at +154. I don't want to step in front of my Calgary Flames, but I do think this is just such a hard test for Dustin Wolf tonight that I do think the Rangers could win this in a lower scoring battle. I think the empty netter could come into play. 3-1 game here for the New York Rangers. I think Calgary will find a way to give Wolf more support tonight. They know they have to protect their young rookie goalie. One thing you can look at is Calgary normally starts off hot versus the New York Rangers. They won the last 4 first periods versus the New York Rangers. So if you want to look at Calgary here, that money line in the first period, I'm just going to pull that up for you. Lines are moving so much. +116 for Calgary on the money line in the first period. Don't take puck line, so you won't get any value. But this team, the New York Rangers, has been so strong, you guys. I really do think they could get the win tonight. Special teams needs to step up for Calgary if they have any chance. I do think the best bet is that under. We have seen these teams trending to the under. It was a solid 5.5 when this opened at plus money to the under. We were getting +108. Now at 6.5 at -134. I still love it to the under. And yeah, the Calgary Flames have been money, but again, Dustin Wolf has to prove to me. He has to prove to Ryan Huska as well, because Ryan Huska, I don't know. He's a hard coach, you guys. Media asked them what he thought of his young goalie, if he should be in talks for awards this upcoming season. And he said, guys, chill, basically. It's November. There's a long way to go. But Dustin Wolf has been impressing me. Like I said, 6 of his last 7 games he has won in the Dome. More so my mom being in the building. It's been every time my mom's been in the building, Dustin Wolf has got the start and not Dan Vladar. So Dustin Wolf is a big buy on for me. I think he can go over his save shots on goal prop. That number hasn't come in yet. But again, with the star power on the New York Rangers, this is going to be his biggest test. So look for the under 5.5. Igor, we know, will stand on his head. Let's do the recap, you guys. We are at the 48-minute mark. For the recap, I just have to write it down because I will totally forget which mark we're at. We'll do 48:30. Let's go, you guys. Let's recap. We'll do a round robin as well. Again, hit that like button, hit that retweet button. There's so many of you guys watching right now. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, we're here noon Eastern every day. Let me have one sip of coffee, and then we're going to fly through all 10 games today. Okay, you guys, it is time for that recap. The Colorado Avalanche versus the Washington Capitals. Colorado versus Washington. I'm looking at Colorado. I lean to them to be able to get the win here, but that money line is too juicy. We have seen Washington win their last 5 first periods as a dog. I'll look at Washington in the first period. I know Ovechkin not in this lineup, but we will look at a couple of players to step up. Jacob Chikrin moved to that top power play line. I'm going to take him for a power play point tonight at plus 500. Andrew Mangiapane shifting lines here. He will be alongside Dylan Strome. I'm looking for Mangiapane to step up, plus 330 for the anytime goal. If you want to parlay Strome and Mangiapane for the points tonight, I do like it. Kale McCarr, I do think will step up nice and strong here for Colorado. I think you look at his power play point at plus 145 over his 2+ points here tonight, because I could see this being a lower scoring game. The Utah Hockey Club versus the Boston Bruins. The Bruins on the puck line is where I'm going to go, laying a goal and a half at plus 148. Yes, Jim Montgomery is gone in this team. I do think while they are all emotionally triggered by this, they didn't think their coach should go. I think they do step up in this game and can cover the puck line. Utah has been giving up those goals as well. You can look at the Bruins team total over 3.5. I expect that positive shift for this team offensively, a team that has not been finding the back of the net a lot as of late. The Carolina Hurricanes and the New Jersey Devils, we are getting the Canes now at a pick and price, minus 110. Sign me up all day long. They have dominated this matchup versus the New Jersey Devils. They've also been so strong on the road. Yes, it's the second night of a back-to-back, but they've proven to us that they can win these second nights of back-to-backs already this season. If you're looking at props here, for the New Jersey Devils, I'm looking at Timo Meier for 4+ shots on goal at plus 185 and Dougie Hamilton for 3+ shots on goal at minus 114. I do think Trocheckov here for the Canes has a brilliant night. I think this comes down to him standing on his head. I would take his save shots on goal anywhere over, even over 29.5 save shots on goal. We know here the New Jersey Devils average like 30-something shots on goal per game. The Carolina Hurricanes only give up 25.4. But the thing is, Carolina Hurricanes on the second night of a back-to-back, I do think that their defense will tire against a fast-paced, high-octane offense here in the New Jersey Devils. So more shots will come, but Trocheckov will win them this game. The Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. Give me the under a 6.5. I do think the value is on the Columbus Blue Jackets straight up on the money line at plus 140. Elvis has been strong versus Tampa in his career at home, you guys. Look at those home numbers. Overall, they don't look good, but at home, 3-1-1 in his last 5 home starts versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. He has stopped 49 of 52 shots in his last 2 wins versus them. So I love Columbus for a sprinkle. I think the under 6.5 is the best way to go. I think Columbus locks down here in this one. The New York Islanders and the Detroit Red Wings. Give me the home dog in the Red Wings in this one. Alex Leon already got a shutout versus the Isles this season, and it was his 4th of his career. And I do think he comes out strong again versus the Islanders. The Islanders have a great face-off, but their power play is weak. Their kill is weak. And I do think we will see the conversion by the Red Wings on the power play here. Their kill isn't great either, you guys, but we look at the Isles. This is a team that struggled on the road last season, struggling on the road this season, and this is their last game of 5 out there on the road. This is a perfect fade situation for me. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Ottawa Senators, the books are begging us to take Vegas, and I am not biting this team. 3-4-2 on the road. They got shut out last night versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, and yes, we saw Edmonton, after being shut out versus Montreal, bounce back. But Vegas, I'm not buying the bounce back here. I do think Ullmark needs to bounce back. Ullmark absolutely struggled last time versus Vegas, allowing those goals to come flying the heck in. He needs to step up. The Sens have not been winning when he has been getting the starts. Look for Ullmark to stand on his head tonight. That being said, the Senators on the money line is disgusting. You can't lay that juice here. I think they win this 4-2. I think they come out first period and go up. First period puck line on the Ottawa Senators minus a half a goals plus 146. Vegas under 2.5 goals. One of my favorite bets of the day at plus 116. I think Vegas struggles to score tonight. The under 6.5. Vegas cannot get into a high scoring game here with the Sens because they will win. I can't have that happen. So under 2.5 goals here for the Vegas Golden Knights. The St. Louis Blues at home versus the San Jose Sharks. You guys, I expect another 5-4 win like we've already seen, or a 5-4 score like we've already seen this season between these two. I'm going to take the first period, both teams to score at plus 180, the over 1.5 at minus 120. Robert Thomas here for the St. Louis Blues for the anytime goal at plus 220. Now, this is one where I'm going to parlay round robin a couple of things and do a third of a unit. So I like Robert Thomas for the goal, Kyrou for the point, Jake Neighbors for the point. If you want to look at them for the goals as well, plus 180 for Kyrou, Jake Neighbors at plus 240. I think between Robert Thomas, Kyrou, and Jake Neighbors, you could take all of them for a point and parlay those together. I think they're coming in. And then for the Sharks, Will Smith, I'm going to take for the anytime goal at plus 500. You can get Celebrini at plus 290 and Toffoli at plus 260. Again, I will look at all three of those guys for their points parlayed together as well. Again, high scoring game. Love to look at those combos for the points. The Florida Panthers and the Chicago Blackhawks. This is my pucking crazy bet of the night. We went pucking crazy last night with the Buffalo Sabres. We got them on the money line. We were not able to get that reverse puck line 1.5 as I won that 1-0. I think Chicago has the opportunity of pulling off an upset here. I love the Chicago Blackhawks plus the 1.5 at minus 124. Definitely the best bet, but the sprinkle will come on the Chicago Blackhawks on the money line. Florida's schedule is just so freaking hard. What they faced and what they're facing, and this is a down spot here versus the Chicago Blackhawks, a letdown spot in a game that they're supposed to win. These are the games that you see these teams and you shake your head. You're like, how did Chicago win that 4-1 versus the Florida Panthers? Could we see it? We absolutely could. The lines have shifted over in Chicago, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Jason Dickinson was able to get 2 goals in their last game. And yes, they lost to Connor Bedard, assisted him. But you look at the top line here for the Chicago Blackhawks. You have Connor Bedard, Joey Anderson, and Jason Dickinson. I think Jason Dickinson to get a goal tonight, great bet. Plus 500. A goal in the first period for Jason Dickinson. Sign me up. I expect them to hit Bobrovsky nice and early, and my money is going to be on Dickinson to be able to do so at plus 1,800. If it's Connor Bedard, it's Connor Bedard, but I think we're on the right track with Dickinson here in this one. I do think the best bet in this game is Chicago's team total over 2.5 goals at plus 108. If you don't want to step in front of the Florida Panthers, I think, though, we could see the letdown. Like I said, hard schedule behind Florida for what they played, hard schedule in front of them. Avs on Saturday, Caps on Monday, Maple Leafs on Wednesday, then a road and home with the Carolina Hurricanes. It's not pretty. This is a letdown. Okay, the Minnesota Wild versus the Edmonton Oilers. The Wild first period, they won the last four first periods versus the Pacific. First period, I believe it was minus or plus 114, you guys. I do think the Wild have the opportunity of getting the win here in Edmonton. They have dominated this matchup versus the Edmonton Oilers, winning 8 of the past 10 since 2020. So strong bet here for the Wild. I do think they locked down Edmonton. This is one of the best defenses in the league. Edmonton's team total under 3.5 goals is minus 136. Again, Leon Draisaitl is in talks for some awards this season. So if you're looking at the Rocket Richard Trophy, he's already got 14 goals on the season. Definitely a candidate you want to look at. And then the New York Rangers versus the Calgary Flames. Calgary's won the last 4 first periods versus the New York Rangers. Could they hit Igor Shesterkin early and win the first period? They absolutely could. We're getting great value, but I think at the end of the day, this is such a battle here for Dustin Wolf in goal for the Calgary Flames. It's going to be the hardest test he faces against his offense here of the New York Rangers. I do lean to the Rangers getting the win and covering the puck line here in this one. I still would look at Dustin Wolf for his save shots on goal, 29.5, 28.5, whatever number you're getting. The New York Rangers average 30.7 shots on goal, and Calgary allows 30.5. Calgary, if they stay out of the box, has the opportunity of keeping it tight. Calgary hasn't been playing as disciplined as I'd like to see them play out there, and I do think the Rangers will have the advantage. I think the best bet in this one is the under 5.5 at plus 108. The last 3 meetings have been low scoring between them. That is the recap, you guys. We got through the recap, it feels like, in 10 minutes for that recap. So the 49 mark was when we started the recap. We're at the 59 mark right now. I know you guys want round robin bets. Round robin bets, I would look at some team totals under Oilers team total. Let me just write this down because I keep forgetting to write down what I gave you guys for the round robins. So Oilers under 3.5. And I've got these in my head, but then I just don't want to go back and watch what I said. So the Oilers under 3.5, the Blackhawks over the 2.5. And we are also looking at one other team total, which is Vegas under 2.5. I know that is scary to take. Vegas under, Edmonton under, Chicago over, you guys, but I really do feel that the gameplay of these games tonight dictate that. You look at the Edmonton Oilers, they are going against a tough defensive, one of the best defensive teams in the league, of the Minnesota Wild. I think the Wild can lock down Edmonton. Even if everything goes awry and Edmonton breaks those losing streaks versus the Wild, I still think Edmonton doesn't score 4 goals if they get the win. So I love Edmonton under 3.5. When we look at the Chicago Blackhawks, Florida's just playing too tough of a schedule right now. I do think Bobrovsky will allow these goals to come in, and I do like the line shifts for the Chicago Blackhawks. So I think the over 2.5 is a great way to go with Chicago. And when we look at Vegas, Vegas isn't scoring. Vegas isn't playing good on the road. Yes, this is a team that is scoring overall on the season, but they're coming off being shut out versus the Leafs. The Ottawa Senators, Allmark needs a bounce back. If it's the weakest link is Vegas, I feel, tonight, but I do think they stay under that 2.5. So you guys, that is a round robin. We've been here for an hour. I hope you guys have all of your bets that you're liking out there on the ice. Please, in the comments below, drop what you're liking today, where you're going with your bets, who you think is the best bet. Which goaltenders are you looking at to have strong nights? Dustin Wolf has to have a strong night out here, you guys. I do think that is in play. I actually think Alex Leon is in play for a very strong night as well. Peter Mrazek, we know, has to have a strong night there. And Gustafsson for the Minnesota Wild. So I'm looking at a couple of those goaltenders. Again, those goalie props are not out as of yet. Chekhov as well for the Carolina Hurricanes, I think, stands on his head, as well as Elvis for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So there's a lot of things that we're looking and we're hoping to cash tonight. You guys, let me know what you think the best bet of the night is. Let me know also where you're watching from. I love to hear it. It is time for a cup of Joe. I'm going to go film my cup of Joe. You know it's Thursday. That means the Madden Quickie will be up on the SportsGrid app. Let's try to get the sweep on the Madden Quickie again today, you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you so freaking much for being here every day. I actually can't believe every day how many of you guys tune in to watch here live on SportsGrid TV on X and across all the other platforms, YouTube and my X as well. I appreciate it. Even over on Facebook, if you're watching there. Thank you so very much, you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. Again, drop where you're from. I love to hear it. Bye, guys.